Hey TechKnowStuds! In this video, we're going to cover what a hash is. A hash is used in a lot of cryptography and also used in blockchain. So let's go over what is a hash. Think of a hash as a fingerprint. Just like your DNA determines what your fingerprint is going to look like, when it comes to a hash is a fingerprint of data. So you have a certain amount of data and it creates a unique pattern or a unique set of characters. So what goes into a hash? Well, first of all, we have a set of data that goes into this hash. So this is data. And what does data look like? It could be anything, really. So there's just a set of data that you have. It could be user ID, transaction numbers, date of birth, data. There could be a lot of different stuff that goes into this hash. Next, we have an algorithm. An algorithm is this set of process that this data is going to go through to create the hash. And there are lots of different types of hashes that are out there, hashing algorithms that are out there. And then finally, we have the hash. This is the fingerprint. It's comprised of a lot of characters that are going to represent the data that goes into it. There's a couple things that make hashes so useful. And one of the things that makes a hash very useful is uniqueness. And what I mean by that is the data, as the data changes going into this hashing algorithm, that the hash changes drastically. It could be even a small change. Like let's say this date of birth was just adjusted by 1 day. You get a very different and unique fingerprint from that. So that is one of the key components that makes hashes so useful, is that you get a very unique fingerprint from even small changes to the data. Another thing to note is that this is a one-way process. A good hashing algorithm cannot be reverse engineered. That is, you can't take the fingerprint and then determine what data went into it. This is one of the key differences between encryption and hashing. Encryption is that we can encrypt and later decrypt that information. Versus a hashing algorithm, we can only go one way, where once it goes into the algorithm, we can't reverse engineer to find out what that data is. We can do all sorts of things with these unique fingerprints. For instance, let's say I'm downloading a program and I want to check the authenticity of that program. I can put it into a hashing algorithm to get its fingerprint and compare it to the known good fingerprint to verify I've got the correct program. Another thing that I could do is if somebody's sending me data, maybe it's a message that they're sending me, and I want to check to make sure it's coming from the correct source, I can use a hashing algorithms to compare and make sure that that's correct, coming from the correct source. So there's verifications that can happen with this. For instance, we're going to use that with verifying blockchain. So let's get into that in our next videos.